Welcome to Morning Manna. I'm Anna, and throughout this week, we're looking at a cast of characters. Really, we're looking at the character of God and the way that His character at work in them shaped their character. Yesterday, we met Deborah in Judges chapter 4, verses 4 and 5. She served as a leader for God's people during a time when they had turned away from the Lord. The Lord was with her and anointed her to lead His people. Today, she'll introduce us to our second warrior, Barak. In chapter 4, verses 6 through 9, she, Deborah, sent and summoned Barak and said to him, "Has not the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you, go gather your men at Mount Tabor, taking 10,000 from the people of Naphtali and the people of Zebulun, and I will draw out Sisera, the general of Jabin, the enemy, his army, to meet you at the river Kishon with his chariots and his troops, and I will give them into your hand." Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go." Okay, so admittedly, when I first met Barak through this chapter, I couldn't believe how weak he was. God calls him to lead an army and guarantees victory, and he's too afraid to go alone. The God who time and time again delivered the Israelites from bondage and gave them victory over their enemies tells him, gather an army, promises him victory, and his response is, "I'm not going if she's not going." Are you kidding? There's no way I would respond that way, right? But then I consider this. The Canaanite oppression of the Israelites was horrific. This was a time of extreme economic hardship. Trading was virtually impossible, and travel invited certain attack from thieves. The Israelites no longer felt safe to even leave their homes. Barak lived under that oppression. Maybe he raised a family in that place, wondering how he could support them and protect them. The Canaanites had chariots, the premier weapon of war at the time, and the Israelites didn't even have weapons. They were utterly defeated. And after 20 years of oppression, God called Barak to lead an army. Now, when I frame it that way, I don't think so highly of myself or so poorly of him. I mean, how many times have I been weary from seasons when it feels like everything in life is a fight? How many times have I known that God was calling me to stand firm in my faith, to pray with authority, to fight for my family, only to respond with half-hearted prayers, or worse, to unplug from everything instead? Deborah's response, she said, "I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, the road which you're going will not lead to your glory, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hands of a woman." Then Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. Though there was a rebuke from the Lord in her reply, because he's not going to get the glory from this victory, Deborah still agreed to put her own life on the line, to put her faith in God in action when Barak had none of his own. Can I tell you, this is why small groups are so vital. There are going to be days when you don't feel like you can handle one more thing. Rather than burn out or hide out, call someone who has the faith for the situation that you're in. If you don't have the faith of your own, borrow somebody else's. We need each other. And if you're the one that receives the call, remember to lend your faith and not your judgment. 1 Corinthians 13:2 reminds us that we can have faith to move mountains, but if we have not love, we're nothing. Yes, Barak's response to God lacked faith, but when others would have sidelined him, God still called forth the warrior in him, and he's calling forth the warrior in you. We don't qualify ourselves for the call of God. It's God at work in us that makes us qualified.